So it appears that the men's national soccer team and the women's national soccer team have reached some kind of agreement that would guarantee equal pay for both. And I'm going to sound off on this and go a little bit deeper into this, but first I want to read an article from CNN by Matt Foster. And the article says, quote, "The United States women's national team earned more money from its male equivalent reaching the knockout stages of the 2022 FIFA World Cup in Qatar than it did from winning its own tournaments in 2015 and 2019. As a result of the equal pay agreement forged earlier this year between the United States Soccer Federation, the United States Women's National Team Players Association, and the United States National Soccer Team Players Association, the men and women's teams split all World Cup earnings. Under the landmark agreement, U.S. Soccer became the first federation in the world to equalize FIFA World Cup prize money awarded to the teams for participating in World Cups. FIFA's website details the prize money for this men's 2022 tournament, stating that the teams who finish between 9th and 16th, the teams who are defeated in the first round of the knockout stages, earn $13 million per team. That means the United States women's national team will earn $6.5 million for the U.S. men's national team's exploits thus far in Qatar. If the team defeats the Netherlands in the round of 16, which they did not, and reaches the quarterfinals or beyond, that figure will continue to rise and will continue to increase. In contrast, the United States women's national team earned $6 million in total for its successive World Cup wins in 2015 and 2019, $2 million in 2015 and $4 million in 2019. The 2019 Women's World Cup total prize money was $30 million, doubled from the $15 million in 2015. The U.S. Soccer Equal Pay Agreement means the United States men's national team will pick up half of the United States women's national team's prize money in the future. Meanwhile, at this men's World Cup this year, the winner of the tournament will get $42 million, and the total prize money is $440 million, over 14 times as much as the women's edition of the tournament. First of all, if I was a male player, whether it's on the national team or in the MLS or just a guy who plays sports in general, I would be livid mad. I would be livid mad that this has happened because you are taking away the hard-earned money of these male professional athletes. And all of this is being done because of being woke, being politically correct, equal pay, the gender pay gap. This is why this is being done. And in the end, it is not fair to the men's national soccer team. It's not fair to the players. It's not fair to the coaches. It's not fair to the executives because the women's team is basically stealing money from them. Basically is what it is. They are taking money from the men's team and they're giving it to the women's team. And the reason they feel like this is necessary is because of sexism. But in reality, the real reason why this happens, the reason why there is such a gap, wherever you go, whether it's between the men's national team or the women's national team, whether it's between men's players, men's leagues, women's leagues, the reason why the men bring in more money is not because of sexism, it's because of a simple aspect of business. And that simple aspect of business is the better the quality of the product you are producing, the more money you are going to bring in. And because men, because they are faster, because they are more skilled, because it is far more interesting watching men's teams play, they are producing a better product. And people run to it. People want to absorb that. People want to experience that, and they're interested in it far more than the women's leagues or the women's teams. And all of these women that claim to be feminists, they don't really get to call themselves feminists anymore, because the whole idea of feminism is that you do not need men to succeed. Meanwhile, all of these women that claim to be feminists, they are begging men on a regular basis to fix their problems for them. They are begging them to come watch their games. Please come watch our games. Please subsidize our leagues. Please buy our tickets. Please give us part of your paycheck. Please solve all of our financial issues because we can't bring in very much money ourselves. They are asking men to solve all of their problems despite the fact they are feminists. And they don't deserve to call themselves feminists anymore. It's garbage. This is garbage decision on behalf of the soccer executives or whoever's behind this. It's garbage. And the reality of it is that you can't really count on women to come and support the women's leagues. At the end of the day, the women throughout this country, they have failed the women's leagues because ultimately, men are the ones who are more interested in sports. Generally speaking, if you're looking to fill up a stadium every Sunday, if you're looking to fill up an arena every other night in the NBA, if you're looking to fill up the stadium for soccer, it's going to be mostly men who show up to give their support. And most of the people who come to see these professional sports games, they are like middle-class people, okay? They don't have an infinite amount of money to dump into professional sports. And they only have enough to maybe go once or twice a year. They look forward to it. They plan around it. They're excited for it. They're ready to go. And if it were me, I can tell you right now that I'm not going to spend my hard-earned money, and a lot of people don't want to spend their hard-earned money on the second best. There are 29 men's professional soccer teams in the MLS. At the very best, the best women's team is worse than the worst men's team. And like I said, people don't want to spend their money on that. I don't want to spend my money on that. The skill gap is huge. The speed is much lower. The speed in which the game is played, and it's not as interesting. It's not. Because at the end of the day, regardless of how good the women's teams are, you know that a men's team, a low-tier men's team, could come in and thump them easily. And so I'm not interested in watching that. Other people aren't interested in watching that. And it's not because they're sexist. It's not because I'm sexist. It's just simply because if I'm going to pay for a product, if I'm going to spend my money on a product, I'm going to make sure the product is, of decent quality. Certainly not the 40th best soccer team in the United States. Just imagine being Christian Pulisic, and you have spent your entire life practicing for this moment. You have sacrificed your time, you have sacrificed your energy, you have sacrificed your body, and put your body on the line for years so you can be ready for this moment, so you can develop enough skill to play in the World Cup. Okay, Christian Pulisic, he's an American playing in European leagues. He's extremely, immensely talented, and he's worked hard for that. Imagine putting in all that work and then having to spend Thanksgiving away from your family because you're out supporting your team, you're out representing your country. You put your body on the line to score the only goal in the game. Christian Pulisic, he scored the only goal in the game and left the game with an injury. Put the team on his back, sacrificed his body to push his team into the next round. Like, that's what superstars do. Big-time players make big-time plays. Puts his body on the line, scores the game-winning goal to put his team through, puts the team and the country on his back, and then at the end of the day, he has to split his earnings. He has to split his resources and exploits. The money that he gets, he has to split with some woman on the women's national team who's not nearly as skilled or nearly as dedicated or nearly as good at soccer. He's got to split his check with that person. Ridiculous. Ridiculous. If you are any kind of professional athlete and you're a man, you should be livid mad. I don't play professional sports and I'm livid mad for them because it's completely unfair. And you might say, well, the women's team, they're going to split all of their winnings with them too. They're going to split their winnings with the men's team. Doesn't that make it fair? No, it doesn't make it fair, because the amount of money that the men's team is bringing in compared to the women's team is night and day. And so the benefit that the women are getting from the men's team is immensely more. They're getting immensely more money from the men's team's success than the men are getting from the women's success. It's not, in the end, actually fair. And like I said before, this is not a matter of sexism. This isn't a matter of people being treated unfairly. It's a matter of business and what kind of product you are producing. It would be like if Dollar Tree out here was complaining that they weren't making as much money as Walmart, and then Walmart coming along and saying, hey, guess what? At the end of the year, we'll split all of our earnings with you. So it's equal. It doesn't make any sense. From a business perspective, it's nonsense. From an equality perspective, it's actually nonsense, because the women are benefiting more than the men are benefiting. They're taking money out of the pocket of the men's players who are significantly better and produce a significantly more interesting product, and they're taking that and giving it to the women. I am livid mad, and you should be livid mad too. Like you talk about, imagine being some 8-year-old who has a dream, an aspiration to be one of the best soccer players in America, and you want to play for the men's World Cup, and then you look like, oh, guess what? A lot of your earnings, like half your earnings, it's going to be given to the women's team for no good reason. This is a garbage decision. It's a woke decision. It's ridiculous. It's discouraging. And it's at the end of the day, it is theft. And none of these players, I doubt that they're going to come out and say anything about it, because it's political suicide to fight the feminist mob and to come out and say anything negative. So I doubt they're going to come out and say anything. But I mean, hey, I'll say something for them. My goodness. Because I certainly would not be happy if I was in their shoes. I certainly would not be excited or happy about the decision that has been made. So, I mean, I think somebody should say something on their behalf, because it's simply not fair.